The DOB found the passage 60 feet long by 8 feet wide by 5 feet tall had no approval or permits, had inadequate shoring, which risked the stability of neighboring buildings, so vacate orders were issued.
How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today I bring you an update on the Jewish tunnel kerfuffle in New York City, Brooklyn, Crown Heights to be exact. Now, this story has taken off. It's all over the internet. There's quite a few memes and whatnot floating around. I put out some memes that are doing pretty well because the story is so crazy. It's like, man, what in the world's going on? Some are offended talking about, oh, that's anti this, anti that. At a certain point, you can't just do whatever you want to do whenever you want to do it. Like digging a tunnel 60 foot long under New York City with no permit, no nothing, no license. You can't just do whatever you want to do, which is why NYPD showed up. And that's why there was a small scale riot, because some guys thought they could do whatever they wanted to do, but that's not the case. Now, we're going to hear from some members of the Shabbat Lubavitch community. This is an Hasidic Jewish group in New York City. They're about 20,000 strong. We're going to hear from them. We're going to see more of the tunnel. We're going to hear more details behind why this whole thing happened. It's a pretty deep story, deeper than I imagined. So first things first, let's get into the first clip. I'm going to play two clips here. If you want to see them, links will always be in the box, IG, link in the bio. Go to the corresponding article on the website. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
Learning more tonight about the secret tunnel built under a famous synagogue in Brooklyn. A 60-foot tunnel was found right underneath the Chabad Lubavitch World Headquarters in Crown Heights. That tunnel was shut down. It was filled with cement. But before all that, a brawl broke out this week. People got arrested when police showed up to seal off the tunnel. As for why the tunnel was built in the first place, that is still being pieced together. News 4's Andrew Siff live on Eastern Parkway now, where there are safety concerns also for other buildings in that area, Andrew.
Exactly. If you're building a tunnel, you're digging a tunnel under New York City, you're in a densely populated area. There's buildings all around. You get infrastructure, you get roads, you get everything right around there. You can't just do whatever you want to do without asking, because there's obvious safety concerns. You know, if you're living in the middle of nowhere, you got acres of land that belong to you, dig away, do whatever you want to do. You can find oil, strike a bid like people down there in Texas, but you can't do that in Brooklyn. Like, that's not how it goes.
Right, Adam. Although we've learned in the last hour or so from the city buildings department that they have successfully shored up all but one address adjacent to this synagogue. One building, 304 Kingston Avenue around the corner, does still have a vacate order because of fire safety concerns. But as you indicated, the controversial tunnel that the buildings department discovered has been sealed and filled with cement. Start with a famous address, 770 Eastern Parkway, headquarters of the Orthodox Jewish Chabad Lubavitch organization.
This is understandably the most recognizable Jewish building in the world.
Now add in a famous religious leader, Rabbi Menachem Schneerson.
Now, he's a pretty important person. The rabbi, he passed away a while back. That's going to be important later.
He died in 1994, but remains such a powerful symbol that a group of students here seemed convinced the late Rebbe had commanded them to expand the basement synagogue, subject of a decades-long real estate dispute.
They actively knocked down the wall separating the synagogue with a nearby basement, and that's what got all over the news.
The result, a makeshift tunnel that you may have seen on social.
Now, let's go back a little bit. This is a little bit different. Hold on.
The result?
This is a tad bit different than knocking the wall down. Just a tad bit different. I'm seeing dirt. I'm seeing all kind of other stuff down here that maybe shouldn't be down there. I'm not exactly sure what I'm looking at right here in the center of the screen. You guys let me know. But that's a little bit different than knocking the wall down. Let's keep on going.
A makeshift tunnel that you may have seen on social media this week.
Let's go, yeah!
It also got the attention of the city's Department of Buildings and led to several arrests for criminal mischief and reckless endangerment. The DOB found the passage 60 feet long by 8 feet wide by 5 feet tall, had no approval or permits, had inadequate shoring, which risked the stability of neighboring buildings, so vacate orders were issued. And cement trucks showed up over the past 24 hours to plug the passageway.
If it was simple as a wall being knocked down, then why do we have these giant cement trucks to plug up the 60-foot long, 5-foot high tunnel? What are we talking about exactly? Come on, man.
Preventing anyone from getting trapped down there.
All of the buildings that needed to be shored up are in the process of being shored up.
City Council member Crystal Hudson said local religious leaders acted responsibly.
The Chabad Lubavitch leadership and building management were actually the ones who called the police.
She and others also condemned online anti-Semitic hatred that spread quickly when images of the tunnel went viral.
It's completely a question of real estate and who controls the property. The word tunnel, because of what's going on in the Middle East, has been associated with large complexes that...
Now, can we just pause for a minute? Now, would it be racist for me or any kind of anti-whatever of me to say that this guy is lying, been lying the whole time, probably a lawyer or something like that? Would I be wrong for that? Because, come on. What has he said that's been 100% truthful the entire time? Real estate. What does that have to do with digging a 60-foot long tunnel with no permit that's damaging other buildings? You got to get an evacuate order because of a fire risk. Come on, man. What are we saying here? This guy's been lying the entire time.
Span entire cities.
I think oftentimes when you have a story like this that goes viral on social media and the internet, you get all sorts of tropes and stereotypes, and I think that's exactly what we saw.
I mean, can you blame people because of? I mean, look at what happened.
As for how long this underground tunnel had been here, the buildings department said they're not sure what it had been used for, essentially connecting to the basement of 4 other adjacent structures. And that's why initially the vacate order and the stop work order was on 4 other buildings. As we said, it's now just one building which remains closed because of fire safety concerns.
So there we have it. That's what's going on. And we got one more clip here. I'm going to play a little bit of this to give a tad bit more information.
The police had to use OC spray or pepper spray to subdue them and to get them to follow directions.
Yeah, these guys were inside the tunnel because they wanted to block it. They were like occupying the tunnel.
Get out. At 770 Eastern Parkway, that's the Lubavitch Chabad headquarters. They were having some work done. And, as they were installing some new pipes, they broke through into a tunnel that ran below the building. And they were very surprised by this. It turns out that a small number of the students at the shul, who were actually here from Israel, were digging a tunnel from the...
That's a tunnel. You see it inside right there. That is a tunnel.
The basement into adjoining buildings and taking the dirt and actually filling up a disused communal bath house.
So when I was talking about this story in the previous video, I think I might have said something about a communal bath. They went to the communal bath. They were filling this communal bath area up with dirt from the tunnel, because if they came out on the surface with the tunnel with the dirt, they would get busted.
House. They said that the reason they were doing that was because if they poured it out on the sidewalk, everyone would know and they'd get busted. And then they cut a hole through a grate so that they could come up out onto the sidewalk without having to get the key to the padlock to the cellar doors. The people who are in charge of 770 Eastern Parkway, when they discovered this, immediately put into motion plans to fill in the tunnels with cement. Unfortunately, these students, 5 of them, jumped into the hole.
Right, they were occupying the hole so they couldn't fill it up.
And would not allow workers to complete the repairs. Strangely enough, they also would not get out of the holes once the police were called to remove them. And they literally started pulling panels off the wall in the sanctuary. And the police had to, in the end, use OC spray or pepper spray to subdue them and to get them to follow directions and get out.
You can't just do whatever you want to do all the time. I don't care what religion you are, what race you are, who you think you are. We got laws in this country. You got to follow them, period.
Rabbi Menachem Schneerson is famous. And one of his final edicts before he died was that they needed to expand 770. And what he meant was they needed to make it bigger so that more students could come and more worshipers could come. And they needed to make it a larger and larger physical space. These students were taking the famous rabbi's edict to expand the property literally and very forcefully dig out more space.
So that's what's going on with Shabbat Lubavitch. I know I'm butchering that name, and I'm sorry, but that's what's happening. That's the whole thing. They're talking about, oh, this guy, you know, the rabbi who passed away. He said, expand it. We're going to expand it. We're not gonna like get a permit. We're just gonna do what we're gonna do whenever we want to do it. When the police get there, we're gonna jump in the hole, and we got to get OC spray to get out. This whole thing is a mess. Really crazy. Talking about stereotypes. I mean, like, if I just happen to be shirt off in the middle of the street with a bucket of fried chicken, like, come on, try to not play into the stereotype, shall we? But as I close, I want to say this. Shout out to the reporters and all the NYPD, all the authorities for getting down to the bottom of what's going on here. And to anybody out there, man, just follow laws. You have laws in this country. You have laws in your city, laws in your state. Just follow the law. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What's your take on what happened here? Did you get some more clarity from this update? Did you kind of already know what was going on? Did you not know what's happening? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. It's pretty simple, man. You can't do anything that you can't just do whatever you want to do whenever you want to do it. It's really not too much more than that, especially when you're damaging infrastructure. The building could have collapsed. Then what? Whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.